8:15, and we've been talking to some of the community champions from right across the UK who've been recognised in the King's Birthday Honours over the weekend. And you will know our next guests.
Yes, the three dads, Mike, Andy and Tim, who of course became friends and campaigners after losing their daughters to suicide, have all been appointed MBEs. We're going to chat with them soon, but first here's a quick reminder of their story.
My dad's boots are old and worn, my dad's face is tired and drawn, but my dad's feet will meet the dawn, my dad's walking on. My dad's cheeks are red and raw, my dad's legs are bruised and sore, but my dad's feet can take some more, my dad's walking on. From Lakeland Hill to Eastern Fen, 300 miles and back again, we will walk and talk like men. My dad's world was torn in two, no words can hold the pain he knew, but there was one thing he could do, so my dad's walking on. My dad's feet will meet the dawn, my dad's walking on. My dad will not be ashamed, my dad's walking on.
What a journey they have all been on. I'm delighted to say that Mike is in the studio with us this morning. Morning. Andy and Tim join us remotely. Lovely to see you all. And massive congratulations to all of you. I know it's bittersweet after everything you've been through, Mike, but I mean, congratulations on the honour, well deserved. What was it like when you heard, Mike?
It was incredible. You know, we're very humbled, you know, and we're very honoured, and it just means that people are listening, doesn't it, as well? But you know, our girls are never far from our minds, and you know, that's why we're on this journey, if you like.
And Tim, if you can just tell us a little bit about how you heard the news, how you kept hold of the news and managed not to tell anyone. What was that whole experience like?
Yeah, we heard about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We had a letter through the post, all three of us. And even breaking the news to each other was quite hard. But we kind of, have you had a letter? Have you had a letter? And then we found out that our names were being put forward by the Prime Minister as the King. And it was a few days ago that we heard that our names were on the list. So, yeah, it was incredible. It was, as you've already said, it's kind of bittersweet because the reason we're on there is because of our girls. I'd much rather have our girls than an award, but we can't do that. So to take the honour, is incredibly humbling.
Andy, what do you hope this recognition, those three letters, MBE, how does that help and change your campaign, your message? What sort of power does it give you, maybe?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it, actually, John. It doesn't change the campaign. We're still going to be arguing to get suicide prevention added to the school curriculum. We'll still be talking about papyrus, prevention of young suicide, and we'll still be trying to raise money for the charity. But just getting the award gives us a chance to shout about our message again. You know, we're back on breakfast, aren't we? You know, so here we are. We can point people back at papyrus. We know by talking about this charity and introducing people to it, lives will be saved. So. No, it really is an honour actually to receive this, but we hopefully will be able to use it very positively and powerfully going forward as well.
Andy, while we've got you, just remind us again why you all believe so passionately in putting this subject onto the curriculum in schools and getting everybody to talk about it.
It's really, really simple. Suicide is the biggest killer of under 35s in the country. Around about 200 school-aged children take their own lives every year. So this is the biggest killer. It's not knife crime, it's not road traffic accidents, it's not drugs, it's suicide. So all we're asking is for the government to start off with, the Department for Education, to put suicide prevention onto the school curriculum. Let's talk to our young people about the biggest risk to their lives, because not talking about it is just plain stupid.
Tim, it's something that you've been arguing right across the UK, the devolved government, central government in Westminster. Do you feel like you're getting somewhere?
Yeah, so the Julian Keegan, the Secretary of State for Education, announced the public consultation into the RSHE curriculum review that they've done. I think that was about the 16th of April. It was 16th of May, about 5 days after we finished the walk. Obviously, we thought with the government going, or the general election, that process had stopped. But we've spoken to the senior civil servants, and they said, no, that's ongoing. And so there'll be a load of evidence from that public consultation that the new government come July can pick up and take forward, and whoever takes the reins, if you like. We've spoken to the party leaders, we've spoken to Sir Keir, we've spoken obviously to the current Prime Minister, and we're all going in the same direction. It's kind of, it's refreshing to hear, leaders talking about this subject is above politics. And we're kind of heartened by that. For us to be welcomed into the devolved administration of Scotland, 3 English blokes going to see the First Minister in Scotland was a real honour as well. And it just shows suicide doesn't discriminate and the whole country is united. It's the one thing that brings everyone together is suicide prevention and trying to stop more people taking their own lives.
So, Mike, how heartened do you feel that, with the general election coming up, there won't be any pause? Do you feel equally as confident?
I'd hope to think afterwards. To be quite honest, I would have liked to have seen this on someone's, election manifesto. It is vitally important. We're talking about the future here. Our children are the future. We need our children to be brought up resilient and happy so they can thrive in society. How confident am I? We're moving on. That this is still out for public consultation. It makes sense if we can get suicide prevention as a line that every child should cross, and you back it all up with life skills and promote their well-being in schools. This is the future.
Mike, you say we're moving on with the campaign, with the politics, the policy of all of this. What about you guys moving on? Your last campaign was, your last walk was over in April, wasn't it? So you've had a couple of months to sort of calm down a bit. What next? Another walk?
Well, it could be. I must admit, I've got an idea for next year.
Oh.
And I have discussed it with Andy and Tim, but I'll tell you.
They're smiling.
Yes, are they grimacing or smiling?
Yeah. Does that explain why they're not here, Mike?
But there's a lot more room on the sofa without them here.
Go on.
Yes, but I recently moved to beautiful Anglesey, living in Chemist Bay. And I think while I'm there, we should highlight what's going on, maybe in a little more remote places, rural communities. So I think walking around there, I must give a shout out at this stage to the wonderful Chemist Bay swimmers as well. But I think it's important that we want papyrus prevention of suicide to be known in every corner of the UK. Ooh. Every individual, every educational facility, every family, every corporation, everything, and we need to take it to these remoter places. So for me to give back there, that would be absolutely, that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, because I guess if anybody is feeling isolated and alone mentally and vulnerable, if you're geographically remote and isolated, it only adds to that.
We want to highlight Hope Line 247, and by doing that, if we walk as well, and talk as we always do, we need to take it to different places, and I think we'll be looking at that next year. What do you say, chaps?
Oh, go on then.
Well, whatever you say.
Oh, I love that.
That's interesting, whatever you say. Who is the boss? Is it an entirely equal relationship? I always wonder that.
I wouldn't like to say. I'd like to say we're equal partners in this, but we're all passionate about what we do, and we absolutely believe it, 100%. We can make a difference. We can stop other families going through this, the terrible grief, the ripple effect and everything like that, and that's what drives us.
And also, I imagine, Andy, I know that when you go on the walks that you've been on, it's not just your story and the girls' stories, it's the people who come and talk to you that stay with you.
Yes.
Well, that's the most powerful thing that we've learned. When we did this last walk, we had it planned, really nailed down, really well planned, because we kind of knew what we were letting ourselves in for logistically. But the one thing that you just didn't know, and was most exciting really, was what every day you set off, you had no idea who you're going to meet. And yet again this year we were met by people who'd been touched by suicide. From the moment we walked out of Stirling to the moment we walked into Norwich, there were people joining us and sharing their stories with us. So it feels like for us, we're carrying all these stories with us, which really does encourage us to keep the pressure on not just the government, but the pressure on society as a whole to talk about suicide prevention. Because we know by talking about what's happened to us and sharing other people's stories, we can save lives going forward. But all of us need to be grown up about it and actually address the issue that if this is the biggest killer of our young people, we've got to talk to them about it. We've got to equip them with this knowledge and skills that will help them in the future.
Well, there'll be thousands of families watching Breakfast right now who are immensely grateful for the fact that you have opened up that conversation and raised all that money, and we'll be sending their heartfelt thanks and congratulations to all of you on your awards. Mike Palmer, MBE, Tim Owen, MBE, Andy Airy, MBE, congratulations and thanks for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Thanks, Sally.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sally.
And if you've been affected by any of the issues raised, you can find help and support bbc.co.uk/actionline.